For decades, the name Seagal meant one thing: bone-crunching, Aikido-fueled Hollywood action. It was a brand built on an almost mythical martial arts vibe. But the next chapter of that legacy isn't being written on a movie set. It's being forged inside a wrestling ring. This is the incredible story of how Steven Seagal's daughter, Arissa LeBrock, overcame a career-shattering injury and the huge shadow of her famous parents to build her own name in the brutal world of professional wrestling. This isn't just another story about a celebrity's kid playing wrestler. It's a story of a dream that was shattered, a fall into a dark place, and an insane comeback that has put the entire industry on notice. What happens when the daughter of a martial arts legend steps away from a modeling career to chase a dream in the chaotic world of wrestling? You might expect an easy road, a free pass. You might expect a lesser version of the same old thing. But you'd be wrong. No one, not the fans, and definitely not WWE, expected the journey she would have to take. Before the world knew her as a fighter, Arissa LeBrock was known for her lineage. As the daughter of action icon Steven Seagal and supermodel Kelly LeBrock, she was born into Hollywood royalty. She carved her own path in the demanding world of modeling, but the fighting spirit of her father was undeniable. Arissa began training seriously in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not as a hobby, but as a dedicated competitor. This unique blend of her mother's camera-ready charisma and her father's combat sport expertise made her a fascinating prospect for the world of sports entertainment. In December 2019, the wrestling world was buzzing with the news. Arissa LeBrock was invited for a multi-day tryout at the WWE Performance Center. It was a legitimate evaluation, a golden ticket for the company to see if this incredible genetic package could translate to the squared circle. With her BJJ background, she wasn't just another model. She was an athlete with a foundation in real combat skills. A developmental contract and a future on NXT seemed all but guaranteed. And then, silence. After the news of the tryout, Arissa vanished from the wrestling world. No signing announcement, no follow-up reports. Rumors swirled, but the truth was more tragic. A major career-threatening injury sustained during that critical tryout forced her to step away. The dream was over before it even began. For most, this would have been the end of the story, a footnote about what could have been. She later admitted this period took her to a dark place, a time of crushing self-doubt, where the future she envisioned was completely shattered. While Arissa was in that dark place, her dream seemingly dead, her phone rang. On the other end of the line was a man who knows everything about living in the shadow of a famous father, about pressure, and about reinventing oneself. The legendary Dustin Rhodes. Dustin, son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, didn't see a failure or a celebrity's daughter. He saw an athlete with untapped potential and a story that was far from over. He offered her a second chance, not a shortcut, but a lifeline. He invited her to his renowned Rhodes Wrestling Academy in Texas, far from the WWE spotlight and the glare of Hollywood. Here, Arissa LeBrock was broken down and rebuilt from the ground up. She wasn't royalty anymore. She was a rookie. She worked with a personal trainer, strengthening her body to ensure the injury that derailed her first chance wouldn't define her second. Dustin praised her relentless work ethic, noting, "She's come off of modeling. We're working with a personal trainer and she's trying to get everything, all her ducks in a row. She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her." For months, she drilled the fundamentals. She learned the grueling art of taking bumps, the language of chain wrestling, and the psychology of telling a story without words. Most importantly, Dustin taught her how to translate her BJJ skills into this new world, making it the core of her identity. In March 2023, the moment of truth arrived. Arissa made her official in-ring debut at a Rhodes Wrestling Academy student showcase. It wasn't a giant arena under TV lights. It was an intimate Texas setting in front of a small, passionate crowd, the kind of crowd that understands the journey it takes just to step through those ropes. When she made her entrance, the transformation was complete. She wasn't a model or a celebrity's daughter. She was a survivor. She was a professional wrestler. Reports from the showcase described a brutally efficient style, a showcase of power and intelligent grappling that stunned those in attendance. She had finally stepped out of her parents' massive shadows and into the squared circle on her own terms. The ripples from that showcase in Texas spread quickly. Arissa LeBrock was no longer just a prospect. She was a performer who had been tested by fire and came out stronger. Dustin Rhodes' prediction that pretty soon the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock started to feel less like a hopeful endorsement and more like an inevitable prophecy. Her debut proved her journey was the foundation for a genuinely formidable competitor. The wrestling world is filled with second- and third-generation talents, but Arissa brings something different. She carries not just a wrestling connection, but a legitimate martial arts legacy that gives her an aura of authenticity you just can't manufacture. So the big question remains, where does her journey take her now? The door to WWE that closed in 2019 isn't necessarily locked forever. The company was clearly interested once, and now, with real-world ring experience and the stamp of approval from a legend like Dustin Rhodes, she's an even more compelling talent. Or will she follow her mentor to AEW, a place that prides itself on new stars and authentic athletes? Arissa LeBrock's story isn't about an imaginary debut. It's about a real comeback. She proved that legacy isn't just about your parents. It's about what you're willing to go through to build your own. The question now is, what's next? A return to WWE to finish what she started, or a new beginning in AEW? What do you think? Is Arissa LeBrock the future of women's wrestling? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories reshaping the world of wrestling. In a world filled with legacy wrestlers, Arissa LeBrock brings something unique. She carries a famous last name, but more importantly, a legitimate martial arts background that gives her an undeniable authenticity. Her journey from the shadow of Hollywood to the harsh lights of the wrestling business was longer and more difficult than anyone knew. She was rejected, broken, and counted out. But she refused to let her story be one of failure. She chose the hard road, paid her dues in a small Texas gym, and proved she belongs. She is not the next Steven Seagal. She is the first Arissa LeBrock, and she is just getting started.